Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Max and today we're doing another episode of things to do in your sketchbook. We've got 5 ideas today. As usual, they are of varying levels of difficulty, so you can adapt it depending on your skill level. If you've been here before, you know the drill, so let's just get on with it. Enjoy. Happy sketchbooking.
And straight off the bat my camera decides to drift away. I don't know why it keeps doing that, it's very frustrating. Nevertheless, our first idea for the video is to create a Polaroid of a picture, because that's what those are. If you don't know what Polaroid is, it's one of those old-fashioned things that comes out of a Polaroid camera. You take a picture and it just prints it straight away. I know, it's crazy. So to do this, you could use a picture from your phone of you and your friends, if you have friends and you're one of those lucky people. Or you could create your own picture like I have, or you could just find a picture of some random people on Pinterest and pretend they're your family or something. I actually was looking through my second sketchbook, so the one previous to this, and stumbled across a picture I did and thought that it would be cool to recreate that a year later. It's just a little Polaroid of my OCs having a lovely, friendly time. I feel like I've mentioned my OCs enough now on this channel to have them become common knowledge, but I will name them anyway. So, starting from the left to the right, we've got Ace, and then Jake, and then on top is Toby, and then holding him is Jaden. And they're just a happy little family. I mean, they are in this dimension. If you've been watching my surrealist videos, you'll know that that's not always the case, but anyway, they're just a happy little family in this little Polaroid. They're related by Jake is Toby's brother, and then Jake's married to Ace and Toby's married to Jaden, so they're all basically brothers / husbands / brother-in-laws. Anyway, most of you probably knew all that anyway, so let's just actually talk about something new and interesting for once. So, as you can see, I just, outlined everything in Biro, and then I coloured them in with coloured pencils, and I tried a slightly different technique to usual. I used a technique at school where you, layer a proper colour on top of the light brown skin colour to give it more, realistic tonage. So I think I used red on all of them, actually. But different people have different tones in their skin. I just dressed them in their sort of standard, stereotypical outfits. Ace always wears this, stereotypical pink crop toppy thing. Toby always wears a bit pink, not pink, a blue jumper. And Jake wears, a green vest, but I made it a shirt vest this time, because I wanted to spice it up. And of course, Jaden just wears, a black hoodie, because he's, basic like that. I painted the fairy lights yellow and gave them kind of a lighter yellow aroundness to make them look like they were glowing, and I got some light blue paint to do the background because in the original one I'm pretty sure I gave that a blue background, so I wanted to mirror it a bit, and the little red caption I gave it was "This is home," and you will see why, because the next page is basically a continuation of it to make a cohesive spread. And here it is. We're just going to begin right away. I'll do the final reveal once I've finished the whole thing. So the second idea of the video is to make a quote page, but an arty one, write it in different fonts and stack it and draw around it, which is a really stupid explanation, but I'll explain it in more detail presently. The quote I chose was from The Hobbit, and it's Thorin's last words before he unalives. So he says to Bilbo, "If more people valued home above gold, this world would be a merrier place." And I think that's very sweet, and that's one of the saddest bits in the whole film. But I think it's a very meaningful quote that I very much believe in, and I thought it paired quite nicely with Polaroid because it's their home is their family. You can probably just kind of follow what I'm doing and figure out how you're meant to do this, but I just will explain a little bit anyway. Just sketch it out first, make a plan, think about different fonts you can use that kind of match what the words are, and then think of colours that you can use that tie in to each other, tie into the meaning of the quote. So, for example, all of the sort of in-betweeny words that aren't that important, like place and this and would be I put in a very sort of standard, not very meaningful font, whereas the more important parts I put in a larger or kind of more cursive, interesting font so that they stand out more. I used, like, mainly gold colours because, like, gold is mentioned, and so is merriment, which is also, like, symbolised with gold. But I also used sort of an autumnal palette as well, because the whole point of the film is we have to get to the mountain before the last day of autumn, so I used my brush pens to do the fonts because they're very nice for doing, like, the cursive swirly ones, because they, like, bend nicely. And then I just got a biro out and outlined everything. I also used one of the dividers as, like, roses, because I thought that would be cute too. The dividers you can use to just sort of separate the lines out, because when they're stacked like that, they can kind of mush together and not look very nice. So you can see I used those, like, in a couple places. Don't, like, overdo it though, just use one or two and kind of have them equidistant from the center so that they look cohesive and it doesn't ruin the whole vibe. On the top of the final word, I dotted the I with an acorn, because if you've seen the film, it's like a bit of a symbol that they use, because Bilbo picks one up and Thorin's all like, oh my god, you carried it all this way, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna plant it in my garden, and he's like, oh, that's so sweet, bro. So here's the final thing, as a whole spread together. I think it works really nicely. I tied it together by extending the fairy lights across. I'm actually really happy with this spread, and I hope you like it too. Right, this page is a very different vibe, and it's hilarious because it's the one directly after this in my sketchbook. So basically, the prompt is use materials you've never used or materials you hardly use, and it's just sort of designed to be like, everyone who does art has a material they've either been bought for Christmas, or they bought it and they're precious about it, or they bought it and decided they don't like it. So just use those. And you could make a massive mess with it, like I did, or you could try and do something artful. I just fancied making a massive mess. I don't know why. So I started by, as you saw, ripping up bits of random paper that I had for some reason that I got given ages ago when I was like a little baby child. And of course I didn't know what to do with them then. I was a little baby child, so I thought I'd use them a bit now. I then got a oil pastel. I never use oil pastels. There's a whole story that goes with those, but I won't get into it because I'll just get angry. The short thing is we got overcharged at the shop, and it could have been avoided if the school had just given me the correct colour in the £60 box that they made me pay for. But anyway, I used those to write the word "leave me alone" because I was going through something at that point and I wanted like a nice stress relieving like activity. It was art therapy, let's just say that. So I wrote that on top, and then I used the paint to kind of cover up parts of the letters, so if I hadn't just told you and you hadn't just watched it with your eyeballs, you probably wouldn't know what it said or that it was letters at all, especially by the end. I then got out another shade of red, although you can't really tell, it basically looks the same. And I made the remaining fractions of letter a bit bolder. I then got you can see my camera's moving around again. I hate it. Anyway, I got a biro and I just outlined the fragments of letter and the paper bits in the background. I tried to keep the colour palette somewhat cohesive because whenever I make these big mess things, they always end up looking really ugly because I choose the wrong colours. I don't know if it worked. It still looks kind of ugly to me. I tried to use blue, yellow and pink, but then I had to get a green in as well because the yellow was really transparent and wasn't doing its job. Another thing I did that I didn't mention as I was doing it was I added little gold leaf flakes because I've got this pot of gold leaf because I thought, oh, gold, shiny, yeah, I want that. And then I thought, what am I actually going to use that on? So I've got a whole just freaking pot of gold on the side of my table, so I just stuck some of that down. I also have this really random set of washi tape that's like, ah yes, London. And I don't know why I bought it. I think I just saw washi tape and thought, oh yes, I like washi tape. So I stuck down some telephone box themed washi tape and also some random like gold rectangles. I also have this like spring themed sticker set that someone got me that I never used, which is a shame because it's actually quite nice. So I stuck some random stickers of those down. Then I got a gold crayon I've never used and I just scribbled and wrote no a couple times. Here's the final thing. It's a little bit disgusting, but it was somewhat stress relieving, and yeah, I don't really have any comments. Enjoy looking at it. The fourth sketchbook prompt for the day could easily be something that you guys are already doing if you're avid sketchbook keepers, which is making a checkpoint page. So by that I mean every quarter, half, 3/4 of your book, make a page to like commemorate that you've got to that milestone. It only really works if you got like a good number of pages. If you've got like 4 pages in your sketchbook, this isn't the prompt for you because the whole thing will just be checkpoints. What I've been doing with my checkpoints is I don't strictly stick to it because that's just stressful, but I loosely theme each quarter of my book after one of my 4 OCs. So the first one was Ace, so it had a lot of like sort of pink kind of themed stuff and lots of pictures of him in it. And this one I've just finished is supposedly themed after Jake, but it's got quite a lot of like Jaden-y stuff in it as well. This spread took me quite a while, but I did enjoy it quite a lot and I was really happy with it once I'd finished. I used the same technique I mentioned earlier where you layer a different colour on top of the skin colour, and I think I used red on this one as well, and it just makes the skin look way more realistic. I mean, he's still quite cartoony vibes because I like that sort of low commitment kind of style in my sketchbook. I say low commitment, this took me 2 hours, but I'm very happy with it and I got to kind of explore his character a bit more. I've always given him like funky earrings, but this time I like solidified what kind of earrings he has, and I've decided he wants a little eyebrow piercing as well, which I think is really cute. So what I did was I did the big Jake face in the middle, and then top corner I had him looking to one side, and then bottom corner I had him looking to the other side, and I just used the same coloring technique on those as well. I'm not too sure about the bottom corner one. It looks kind of sus. I'm not a fan. It doesn't really look like him. It just looks like some sort of generic guy with an oddly shaped jaw. I coloured in the clothes very kind of vibrant, colourful, annoying colours because he's just really quirky and he likes to dress in crazy colours, a bit like me. He ended looking way more like sassy and feminine than he actually is because I made his lips like way too red and it looks like he's got lipstick on, and also his jawline looks a lot more sharp than it normally is because of the new technique I tried. So he looks kind of like he's been trying on Ace's makeup or something. It's very funny. In the background I put in some vines with orange flowers on because I did that with Ace's and I wanted it to be cohesive. In that corner there, I did the meme of Elmo, like, running through fire, because Jake's a very memey person, and he's just, like, hilarious and funny. I also put a cheese board because he's obsessed with cheese, like me. Here is the finished. I'm very happy with it, and I hope you like it too. I enjoyed making it.
Hi, future me here. I know I said 5 at the start of the video, and I know I normally do 5, but I started working on the 5th one for 2.5 hours and it's nowhere near being done yet. So I thought instead of cramming hours and hours of footage into a 3-minute clip and then being upset about the waste of my life, I thought I'd just do 4, and then the 5th one I'll make into a separate video because it's very technical. I won't give spoilers, but it involves like lots of interactive elements, so that will be coming out sometime probably in October. I'll link it in the description once it is out, so if you're watching this like a while away then you can just find it. So sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed the video though. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.